Hi, my loves. Welcome to I'm Home. I'm Holly, and this is a space for remembering. Remembering that home was never something we had to chase, never somewhere we had to arrive to, never something outside of ourselves. Home lives within the heart and the body and the spirit, in our roots, in our joy, in our grief, and in our becoming. And together, through stories, reflections, conversations, and all of the beautifully human moments in between, we get to remember our way back. So wherever you're listening from right now, your car, your morning walk, your bedroom floor, or making a cup of tea in your kitchen, just arrive. Hello, my beautiful, sweet earth angels. Before we dive into today's podcast episode, let's just go ahead and take a few rich, deep belly breaths together. And maybe some of the biggest ones we've taken all fucking day today. And we're going to do this together as a community, as a collective. So let's do that before we get into the magic of today's podcast episode. So wherever you are, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, maybe somewhere outside, maybe laying down, let's just come into the body just for a quick minute. And I'm just going to invite you, if you are able to do so, if you're driving, just maybe imagining you're with us right now and just safely taking these deep breaths with us. But if you're somewhere where you can do this, let's do it together. So I'm going to invite you lovingly and sweetly to bring your left palm to the heart space, and maybe inviting your right palm to come over your womb, your abdominal, your stomach area, or whatever you see fit that feels safe to you. And as we come into this position with our palms in this area, in this space, we're going to go ahead and just gently close the eyelids ever so softly. And just taking a nice deep belly in through the nose, holding at the top, and let it go. Once more, a nice, rich, deep belly breath in through the nose, and feeling the coolness of new life, of new air through this breath. Holding at the top, and now releasing anything from the day and letting go. Doing that once more. A nice deep belly breath, inviting the coolness of this new life, of air around you. Holding at the top. And I'm going to invite you to take the biggest exhale, just like a tea kettle, exhaling out. Let it go. And as we're here, still with the eyelids closed, maybe setting a little intention for ourselves for this podcast episode. What magic am I seeking through these words today? What is my why and intention for receiving today? And just letting that land wherever it does. Maybe one word or a sentence or a couple comes through. And just placing it in your heart, just like a little star coming inside the heart space. Placing that star into a nebula of other stars, of other intentions, of other desires that are in your heart, that are living there. And just trusting the process of today, of this episode, and whatever needs to be revealed. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Aho. And we can go ahead and come back into the body, opening the eyelids, coming back into the awareness around us. And I want to offer why I always start off the podcast in this way. I think for so many of us, including myself, we go throughout our entire fucking day without taking a nice deep breath for ourselves. Yes, and sure, we breathe constantly throughout our day. It's the reason why we're alive and here, tuning in. But I mean really good breaths, ones that really bring you back into your body, into your heart, into your spirit, and ones that allow you to feel the ease of where you are in this present moment. You know, we live in this time where we are all, including myself, so digitally glued to the damn phone, to everything in front of us, constantly worrying about what's behind us and constantly worrying about what's going to be in front of us, instead of just being right here with our breath and with our body. Because I can guarantee you will have no bigger anchor than your breath. Your breath is the biggest, deepest, and most potent anchor you will ever have in this life. So might as well get used to it and might as well befriend it in the most loving, joyful, playful way possible. And that could even just be a couple minutes of your day to take those breaths, because you deserve it, Earth Angel. And I also want to share how happy and peaceful I feel today. And I just wanted to share a little bit of that whimsy with you. And the reason I feel this way is because I just got done swimming in my pool, which you can't see, it's on the other side. But I was swimming for about 2 hours and then was just hanging out in my backyard for quite a while, reading a book that I am completely glued to. It's called Fourth Wing. It's about dragons and fantasy and mythology and enemies to lovers. And I love dragon energy already. I actually work with a dragon guide myself, and that's a whole other podcast episode, but I just love dragon energy. And so when I was recommended this book, I was like, okay, this is totally up my alley. So I have been reading nonstop today. I work from home and even had some breaks in between. And now that I've been off, I have just literally been playing and relaxing in my backyard. And here we are as the sun is setting. We have the sunset. It is golden hour. My journal is here. We are ready to go and just speak from the heart. So I am feeling so lit up and just so happy. And I'm realizing these moments in this summer season, are genuinely some of my favorite. And for whatever reason, it feels like this season of summer, especially this year, has been so linked to the whimsy of my inner child and allowing her to play and just be fucking free as she wants to, and to get as messy as she wants to eat with her fucking fingers, food everywhere, play as much as she wants, not giving a shit how she looks, because that's exactly how it should be, right? Which I completely love. And I think as we get older, we lose some of that. We lose some of our qualities of how to just be us. You know, we want the perfection of who we are. We want to be perfect. We want everything in order. We want to look pristine, especially as women and womb holders. And I am learning to get out of that loop. And it's a journey and it's taking me time. But sister, let me tell you, it has been a fucking beautiful ride to unbloom in that way and unravel in that. And I think my perfectionist wound has been around since I was a child. And I see it in certain ways. And it's so funny because I feel that the perfectionist wound has been testing me the past, I'd want to say, month, in terms of things, you know, that are out of my control, whether that's like a post and forgetting to edit something out of it, or sharing something with a friend, or creating something, you know, my writing, like whatever it is. I feel like mistakes have been popping up more and more and more. And then I look at them and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And I want to adjust it. I want to change it, but I just simply can't. And every time I'm invited to go a little bit deeper into this perfectionist wound, I literally have to just hand over the wheels of God, hand over the fucking wheels, and just laugh and be like, you know what? This is completely out of my control. And I was sharing this with a good sister of mine. and sending her a voice memo. And I'm like, you know what, sister, I don't think that this post that we're creating together, I don't think I can change it. Nothing else is going to work. It's good as it is. And I can't keep changing it. This perfection wound is literally, in the most weirdest, funniest way, is also asking me to loosen my grip on myself. And, and your perfectionist wound can come up in so many ways. It doesn't just come up with the way that people perceive you. It can come up in the ways that you perceive yourself, in the ways that you have OCD, in how you manage time, in so many different little ways. And so really, I guess my invitation to you is, if you have a perfectionist wound, what are some small ways that you can also let go? Meaning, can you shake it off? Can you laugh it off in that moment? And maybe even curiously asking yourself, okay, so if I know that the perfectionist part of me is arriving in this moment, what does she need? What is she craving that she didn't receive when she was maybe 5, when she was maybe 7, or maybe 16? And doing that little loop or spiral, so to speak, has been so beautiful for me. Because just like a spiral, yes, we go in a loop, and life in itself is a spiral, but the spiral itself goes up and then it goes down, up and then it goes down. And I think our purpose as humans is to continue that spiral as we move up the ladder of life and challenges, and then we come back, going up the ladder of growth, and then we come back. And so inviting ourselves, how do we unlock these wounds? How do we see them for what they are? And how do we speak to them, hold them, and then let them go? So that being said, I have my journal with me, and I just wanted to extend so much gratitude as well for this past week, really, and past weekend. As this past weekend, I was invited to do a 75-minute workshop for this beautiful community called Welcome to Pluto's. I believe I'm getting it correct, but it's Pluto's, a beautiful writing community based in the LA area. And they invited me to do a workshop for, again, 40 plus creatives. And I was quite nervous, a nervous fucking wreck. Given that, yes, I host women's circles, and I think the biggest circles I've ever hosted have been around like 22 women, but to be in front of 40 plus creatives where you're actually teaching and sharing not only your knowledge, the wisdom, and whatever wants to come through was a little bit nerve-wracking, so to speak. And I just want to share something that I wrote down in my journal after coming home from this workshop, is that the things we're most afraid of are often pointing us toward who we're becoming. And that sentiment is so beautiful because I was living it in real time. This workshop that I was facilitating to these beautiful creatives in LA was all about writing from the heart and how we do that as creatives, and why it's important for us to recognize how our heart chakra, our heart space, is literally just an extension of our palms. And when we have that connection and we understand that connection and bring art into life, the art we bring is literally just a reflection of our inner world. And when we use our heart space to command that art into life, oh my gosh, the possibilities are fucking endless. So the workshop was all about that. And I'm going to get into it a little bit more. I've been living those lessons in real time. And ironically, one of my biggest shadows has always been the fear of being seen. Using my voice, funny enough, showing up authentically. And yet the very thing my soul keeps asking me to do is literally the thing my shadow has been most afraid of. And I'm sure for many of you, it's the same. The thing our soul is craving us to do is the thing our shadows are quite afraid of. So today I want, and my heart wants really, to talk about shadows, the medicine they carry, and why it's so important for us to not run away from our shadows, but to befriend them, just like our favorite blanket. And that really, I don't think our shadows are meant to scare us. They're actually meant to help us along the way. So, as I was discussing in my workshop, is that before we write from the hand, we write from the heart. And there's this beautiful synergy and relationship we have from the heart to the palms. You know, the heart chakra is associated with love, compassion, grace, abundance in ourselves, divine union, all of the things we think about within the heart space, right? And in many indigenous cultures and practices, our palms are considered secondary energy centers that are deeply connected to our heart space itself, and that also transmit the energy of our heart. It's one of the reasons why in Reiki and energy practices, the practitioner is quite literally beaming the energy from the palms itself. And if we think about it in an everyday practical sense, it's how artists bring creation to life. It's how we birth worlds. It's how we build things. It's how we create. It's how we make our food. It's how we design. It's how we dress. It's how we eat. And it's how we play. So the palms are essentially one of the biggest aspects of how we create in this life itself. And in a deeper sense, our palms are how we bring the unseen, our dreams and desires and manifestations into the physical world. It's how we birth our lives into reality. And I was even writing this in my journal that I've always found it so incredibly fascinating that the same hands we use to hold someone when moving through deep grief, the same hands we hold someone in a deep embrace when there is loss, they're the same hands we use to create. They're the same hands we use to love. They're the same hands we use to move mountains. And creativity often begins as a feeling, intuition, insight, and our hands are what allow that feeling to take physical flight. The heart dreams it and the hands build it. And on the same side of that coin, it's why ritual and ceremony is so important and something that I consistently live by in my day-to-day life. Even before I begin to write, begin to create, even in the simplest of ways, before I even play my flute, my drum, before I write for work, I have ritual. I make it ceremony. So that could be as simple as lighting a candle on your altar space or lighting a candle on your desk or somewhere in your room that feels really sacred. Praying to the water that comes on my face and my body in the shower before I begin my day. Beginning my prayer as I wake up and have the sun beaming on my face and giving thanks to the light codes that are coming into my physical body. Saying hi to the palm trees that are literally quite above me as I start to journal during the day. These little magical ways that we bring ritual and ceremony are some of the most deepest ways we can bring our worlds to life, which is our writing and our art. So really inviting ourselves into ritual every single day. And I truly believe that when we begin ritual with our lives every single day before the act of creation and art itself, I think that space allows our art to breathe, allows our art to be heard, and we finally hear the messages that need to come through. So maybe we're in the process of writing our first book, in the process of writing our first poem, in the process of building a portfolio for our photography work, the process of writing a song or learning to play the guitar. And we have all this anxiety, this angst of, well, I need to get it right, or I need to do this, or I need to do this, and da-da-da-da-da. You know, this has to be the fucking best book in the world. And we have all these expectations, but really the art can't come through if we have all these blocks and expectations right in front of it. The art needs a ritual and a place to breathe so it can be seen. And ritual, I truly believe, in ceremony as well, is a space for our spirits to come into life, into being. And so when we have ritual in these small little ways, it's a moment for us to be still. And that's when we can hear the testimonies, the words, and the feelings of what needs to be birthed. And a quick story on that is I was also in the process a couple weeks ago when I received word that I was invited to do a workshop for this beautiful one-day writer's retreat. I had no idea what I was going to do for this retreat. No fucking clue. And I was a little bit panicked about it, not going to lie, because time was a ticking. Let me tell you, time was a ticking. And it was getting closer. And I remember sitting outside in my front yard, made myself a cup of cacao, had my journal on hand, and really I just thought that that morning was going to be another morning. I was doing my morning prayer. I had my pen with me, was thanking Mama Cacao, taking those deep breaths, calling in my spirit guides, my team, and was just going to morning journal. Little did I know that when I opened my eyes after prayer and doing my usual ritual, that it was like boom, lightning fucking striking down. And in that moment, I just remember taking this big breath and just started journaling for 30 fucking minutes. And before you know it, those pages had nothing to do with what I thought I was going to do for my morning pages and everything to do about me channeling down exactly, and I mean exactly, what I was meant to teach and share in this 75-minute workshop. I mean, word for fucking word. I have it right here, step by step, on exactly the spacing, the wording, and just what needed to come through. And it was beautiful. And by the time I was done and put that pen down, I was like, I got it. I'm good. And the outline was birthed, and just so many things, so many ideas, so many sparks of inspiration were coming through. The title of the workshop was coming through. The imagery of the workshop was coming through. The altar space that I was going to use for that was coming through. And it was beautiful. And what I needed were two things: trust and ritual. Trust in the unknown, trust in my process, and ritual. Making that small moment in my day ritual. And so as artists, how can we come into ritual? How can we bridge the gap of this is just another day of writing and making it, this is ceremony for me to express what's been in my heart space, to alchemize the grief, the sadness, the anger, and turn it into a story that's going to reach thousands of people. Turn it into a song that is going to touch the heart space of thousands of women. And that in itself is alchemization and ritual at its finest. So going back to shadows, and I wrote this down for y'all. What if shadows aren't the opposite of light? What if shadows are actually guardians? What if shadows are protecting something valuable? And I'd love to kind of tie this into mythology, inner childlike whimsy itself. You know, in mythology, fairy tales, we even see it in Shrek, some of our favorite movies, right? Folklore. There's often a dragon that's guarding something and protecting something, or some sort of magical object, right? And the hero's journey isn't, quote unquote, finding the treasure. The hero's journey is having the courage to face the dragon, because the treasure is often something on the other side of this fear. So when we apply it to shadow work, the dragon equals the fear. It can be fear of being rejected, fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of judgment. And the treasure equals the gift. The treasure is what exists behind the fear. So examples of this can be, the dragon equates to fear of being seen, yet the treasure is your authentic voice. The dragon can be fear of sharing your work, yet the treasure is creative expression. The dragon can be fear of taking up space, yet the treasure is your full fucking self. So let's get curious about the why. Why is the dragon showing up for us at this time and space in our lives? Why is the dragon appearing in this chapter of our book? So again, the very thing our soul has been asking us to do is really the thing our shadows are most afraid of. And even for me, my own dragon for many, many years has been the fear of being seen and the fear of being my authentic self. Ironically, as this is the work that I do, but I find that our fears are leading the way to our purpose. Our dragon is simply just showing us the way to our treasure, which is the opposite of our fear itself. And for many medicine women that I meet, the grief and the pain and the fears that they experience as children is the medicine itself that they need to share with the world. So when we've gone through trauma, when it comes to blocking our voice, we were told no after no after no, that we could not express ourselves the way that we would like to, that we needed to be quiet, we needed to be still, we needed to shut up when all we wanted to do was cry. And from that, we begin to grow as adults that feel that we cannot express our true selves, that we are not worthy of sharing our voice, sharing our stories, sharing our books and our writing, whatever our art may be. But I think the real gift in the trauma that we experience is being able to go back to our inner child, going back to those wounds and knowing that we are more than worthy, not only to slay the dragon, but to be our own hero in our own journey. And knowing that when we do so, it allows the light for everyone else that sees our path to do the same. And again, when we allow ourselves to know that our own shadows are showing the light to exactly who we are and our purpose, the medicine is just us sharing what we've been through and helping those along the way. And how fucking powerful, how rich is that? And when we understand that, that is probably one of the deepest and richest gifts we'll ever receive as creatives. So I wrote down a few reflection prompts for you as we close out today, or even to ponder on as you take your walk, ponder on as you're in the car, or maybe your late night with a cup of tea. Is first, what is the dragon that's been showing up in your life lately? What fear keeps following you? Can we give the dragon a name? What does he or she look like? What color is this dragon? How big or small do they feel or seem to you? And if your dragon could speak, what would it say? What is your dragon protecting you from? What dream is waiting with the treasure? And as we close, some of my final thoughts on this are, maybe your dragon isn't here to stop you. Maybe it's here to show you where your treasure has lied all along. And hopefully you have faith and trusting that process in doing so. I'm right there with you.